Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to iTouch App Reviewers. In this video, I have 3 quick stories to go over with you guys involving the iPhone 11 and iOS 13. Now, I do want to apologize if you hear a low hum. There is someone outside cutting their grass. Obviously, I can't get them to stop for this video, so we'll have to deal with it. Anyways, first story here. iOS 13 concept imagines mouse support, enhanced multitasking, and more for the iPad. Now, we have been hearing quite a few rumors that there will be Bluetooth mouse support for the iPad. So if you guys have been following the channel for a while, last year I made some videos about the iPad, and one of the top comments, like multiple people were posting, was that they wanted the ability to use a mouse on the iPad. And I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, that would completely change how it's used, but that would be super cool if Apple could do it. Now we are getting reports that it's possible that iOS 13 will have an accessibility feature to allow for mouse support. Now, they call it accessibility because obviously certain people might need special assistance with their devices. So a mouse might be easier for someone to use an iPad than, say, touching the screen. But I think that if Apple implements mouse support for the iPad, that could help pretty much everyone because there are certain things you just can't do with your fingers that you can do with a mouse. Anyways, if we scroll down just a bit here, I'll open these up for you guys to kind of look at one at a time. But they could really do some cool stuff if they redesign iOS 13 to take advantage of the screen, full power of the iPad, and the mouse support. You guys could pretty much use this thing like a mini laptop. I think that would be pretty sick. But next up, let's talk about the iPhone 11. So there's a report that says 2019 iPhones will feature a new back glass design, redesigned mute switch, and more. The main thing I want to show you guys here is the mute switch, not this image. But you guys can see actually real quick here how small this bump is, and I'll get to that in the next story. But if we look on the side here, this mute switch is now actually like the iPads, where it's a little circle and it goes up and down instead of side to side. I forgot to mute my phone. I'm getting spammed on Snapchat. Stop it. Redesigned mute switch. I actually do like that because think about it. If your phone is in your pocket, you sometimes don't know if you're touching the front or the back because it's both glass. So you don't know if it's muted or not. You might have to switch it once and then switch it back to kind of make it vibrate. This would be a little easier. You could feel, okay, it's up, okay, it's down. So I actually do like that idea. Now to take that a step further, there are some CAD renders that offer 360-degree video and iPhone 11 comparisons. So let's take a look real quick at these. You guys can see here, this has the kind of the raised lip around the cameras as well as the body colored interior of the cameras. Now, I don't know that I personally like that. I think that's kind of ugly. Everyone has their own opinions, but I don't know if that's the move, if Apple does it. If so, obviously the black one's the one to get. But this is just a leak. This is just a render. This is nothing set in stone. But they do look really good. Now, the iPhone is actually going to be getting smaller bezels by a little bit. And it's so small that Apple might not even tell you about it. That's what the renders are showing now. And also in this, if I zoom in, whoa, that zoomed in way too much. All right, right here, you guys can see the mute switch is actually the little circle. Personally, I like that look. It looks good. Now for this year's iPhones, this is kind of exclusive, just leaks that I've kind of gathered. The 2019 iPhone is not going to be a huge redesign. It's really just going to be looking almost the same as last year's with new camera modules and a frosted glass finish that's supposedly in the works. Who knows if they'll actually do it, but it's supposedly going to have a new texture. The 2020 iPhone is probably going to be getting a redesign. I'm thinking a more blocky feel. Think iPhone 5 mixed with iPhone 10. So it'll be blockier than the iPhone 10, but not as blocky as the iPhone 5, if that makes sense. It'll be a super cool phone. It'll feel good in the hand, and it'll look completely different. Now, something I've been hearing from different sources, there is going to be a brand new set of AirPods this year, later this year. Ming-Chi Kuo has mentioned this, and I also heard it from a few other sources. Obviously, I'm not going to name them, keep them private. However, multiple people have mentioned that Apple plans to release AirPods 2, well, we would call it AirPods 3, later this year. Later this year. So we're thinking September or further back. Now, these are supposedly going to have a whole new design, possibly new colors, new textures, possibly a frosted feel and look to them. We're not entirely sure on that yet, but they are coming. Now, rumor has it that the current AirPods 2 that just dropped were actually supposed to be released last year, like in September or October. However, Apple couldn't finish AirPower, and they still thought they could do it at that point, so they held off. That's why if you go out to the store right now and buy AirPods 2, they have the AirPower mat on the back, at least for the wireless charging case. It has a diagram of it and talks about it on the freaking case. Those were supposed to be released last year at the end of the year with AirPower. Obviously, AirPower never got done, so they kind of sat on those AirPods. So those are like an AirPods S. Those aren't even AirPods 2. The ones that are coming this year are going to be AirPods 2. So hopefully that doesn't confuse you too much. Hopefully you kind of understand where I'm coming from here. Basically, brand new redesigned AirPods coming later this year. Stay tuned to the channel. I'll have more on that later. But that's all I can share on that for now. If you guys like the video, hit it with a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.